I was saying that I really think that healthcare workers were profoundly demoralized by that. I mean, we were looking at case numbers rising. We're seeing weeks and weeks of intense pressure in the healthcare system and work and a real slog, starting from being very tired already. And so it was incredibly demoralizing. And I think that I also saw a lot more comment from, usually fairly quiet public members who are also very, very appalled by this. So this really struck a nerve in a lot of people as to how inappropriate it seems. I think that one thing that it really illustrated was how deep the divisions are within our society and how there's this fairly small, very vocal group that is really taking a lot of air and a lot of attention, and it is really distressing. And I really question how any political leaders are going to start charting a way out of this because it's an inherently political problem.
Professor Hardcastle, what are the legalities about cracking down on these kinds of protests? Some leaders have been talking about possibly making some changes there.
Well, I think that carefully tailored legislation that would prohibit, for example, protesting in front of a hospital is likely to withstand a constitutional challenge to freedom of speech. And I also prefer that kind of legislation to the very broad legislation that we saw come out of some jurisdictions in response to Indigenous people protesting. That legislation, which was so broad and prohibits protesting on any critical infrastructure, I'm concerned that that legislation would be used to block protests by workers or protests around social movements like Black Lives Matter. And so I think while we may want to crack down on this kind of protest because we disagree with it, I think we need to be careful of normalizing cracking down on the kinds of protests that probably we do agree with.
Where do you see this heading, Dr. McKenzie, when it comes to protesters and really the division between the unvaccinated and the vaccinated? I think we've got about 40 seconds for you.
Well, we've come a long way in 18 months. A year ago, when thousands of people were dying from COVID with no clear end in sight, who'd have thought we'd have been here today talking about people who want to fight for their right not to take a vaccine, to get infected, and potentially to infect other people. Now, I think most people agree that everyone has the right to their own view, but violence, protesting outside hospitals, hassling healthcare workers, and producing a poor environment for patients and families to recover, I think most people would say it's not reasonable or proportionate, and that carefully tailored legislation is going to be important.